We've used the stat quite a bit, but it really does show the difference between how it all started so wonderfully for Solskjaer at United to how it has completely fallen apart so quickly. Just 2 wins out of their last 12 matches, 8 of those ending in defeat. Obviously, when this decision was made, when they gave him the contract, we had quite a discussion on here with you guys regarding whether or not it was the right decision. You felt it was.
No, you misquoted me. I said Ed Woodward had no other option at that particular time because
which is nonsense.
Yeah, you might say that, but
no, I don't say it.
The crowd would have gone absolutely mad, and he's got the good feel factor. And there was no way they were going to get Pochettino to be the manager.
Robbo.
You talk about long-term plans, but in football there aren't long-term plans. There are no long-term plans.
You've just came here at a perfect time, I have to say. You've travelled, you picked it right. You don't just run a football club like Manchester United because you... What are the fans saying? Oh, give Ole the job. All right, give Ole the job.
Most of the time, fans pick and choose what goes on.
No, they don't. I'll tell you who picks and chooses. Really strong chief executives.
But we know Ed Woodward isn't a strong executive.
That make good decisions. This is now going to be, in my opinion, hit. So David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, he's rushed into his 4th bad decision off the back of a...
But would you have said Mourinho was a bad decision when he appointed him? Would you have said Louis van Gaal was a bad decision when he appointed him? They'd just come 3rd in the World Cup.
I was unsure.
Dutch.
I was unsure about them. However, they at least had a resume to give them a chance to do the job on the basis of what they'd done before. The reasoning for Solskjaer get the job is a few good results, and he used to play for Man United. I mean, I've never heard anything so silly in all my life. And Ed Woodward here got sucked into the good results, the uplift, the crowd, and he wanted to make himself look good, which he doesn't look now, by the way, by giving him the job.
You've said that you've been fluid on this, on this subject for a while.
Well, look, at the time, and we were riding the wave of what had been the success of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer since coming to Manchester United. And so my position was essentially, look, if getting this manager in place right now and saying that he's going to be here long-term somehow gets these players over the line. And let's not forget that at that time they were riding that momentum and really threatening to finish in the top 4. Then maybe they continue that momentum forward. Then I thought it was a risk worth taking. But I think at this point, clearly that momentum has ended. And so you can make the arguments like, look, it was a good idea to see if we could get over the line in the top 4. Now that hasn't been the case, well, maybe we got to consider the possibility of going in a different direction.
And the other big argument in the favour of a Solskjaer at the time was that they were talking about we've got to buy new players, we need a whole load of new players, we need a manager in place that's going to be able to buy those players rather than wait until the summer, appoint a new manager and then suddenly we're not sure which players we want and we can't get them. It's too late. That's what happened before when they appointed Mourinho and Louis van Gaal.
The problem they have now is what players can they attract? You've got Europa League and you've got an inexperienced coach. You've got a locker room that seems to be at one with each other. There's a lot of issues going forward. And it's interesting because they are issues, whether or not you like the way he did it, that Mourinho, did address. Yeah,
but they've got lots of problems in terms of, as you said, some of the best players probably want to go now because they don't want to be associated with the club. And there's the best players, but at times bring the worst attitudes. When
we're talking Paul Pogba.
Paul Pogba. You look at, he's not the best player, but Lukaku's done nothing really. Some of the young players like Martial, who's got a great talent, but throughout his time at Manchester United, you look at his attitude and his dynamism or lack of dynamism, his lack of effort at times. That's all got to be addressed by the manager. He can't be nicey-nicey anymore. He's got to make sure, because he'll be out of a job 2 months into the season if he doesn't get results. He's got to make sure this summer he gets the right players in, he gets the right attitude amongst the players.
Robert, how?
Let's be honest, they're laughing at Liverpool, but not publicly, privately. At Manchester City and at Liverpool in particular, they're laughing behind the scenes at the way this club's been run and at the appointment of this manager. The one thing that happened with Mourinho is he wanted... Well, give you an example. One of the players he wanted to fill out the squad was Perisic.
Yep.
At the time, he was playing quite well. But Ed Woodward didn't want to overpay. Didn't want to overpay. That's his prerogative. I'll tell you what he's going to have to do now. If he wants good players, he's going to have to overpay for everybody. Right? He's going to have to overpay for everybody to try and get them to come in because of the state they're in and because of the place they're playing. And City and Liverpool will be laughing because Chelsea are going to lose Hazard, but for the Court of Arbitration for Sport will not be able to bring a player in. Arsenal are well behind. And United are miles behind. The only ones that could potentially if he stays Pochettino and is given money, it could potentially try and get at those two, is Tottenham. The rest are miles behind.
This is it, and this is us just being negative for the fun of it against United.
Well, it's factual.
It's very difficult to paint an optimistic picture looking at United and look at what challenges they have ahead of them as to why they're going to be competing not just next season, but a good few seasons to come.
They have to take a very good and objective look in the mirror and say, wait a minute, are we just going to bring in players and attract players because we're Manchester United? Well, maybe the history of the club plays a part. But if you're a major player around the world, a major talent, where do you want to be? Yeah. You want to be in the biggest stages available, on the biggest platform available. Manchester United right now is not that stage. And I know some of Manchester United fans will get all excited about this, but the truth is that right now they are a very average team with a rich history, but an average team nonetheless. When you see the sort of goal that they got scored against Cardiff, and I know it's a meaningless game. Well, it's not meaningless. It's not meaningless. It means something to somebody. And you see the goal they get scored off of a throw-in that goes straight into the goal. Are you kidding me? How does this happen at Manchester United? So to your point is, look, you may be Manchester United. You may have a rich history. But I don't think that plays a part when you go and present options to major talent around the world and you say, here's what you have available. And all these other teams, they have Champions League. And all these other teams have aspirations. And all these other teams, they also have money. And they're in a much better position than Manchester United is right now. It's a difficult one.